hard thing is like scheduling stuff. So like I did this, and then I found the Cause of Affliction. I was doing an all girls band thing in Hilo the same night, but I can't change it because I paid and I booked it. So
this is Graham, MoshPlayLive.
And I'm Veronica. Thank you for playing along.
You can join the Cult of Rum by going to MoshPlayLive.com. Also find us on Instagram and Facebook.
It's so wonderful to tell us about your organization.
Yeah. So I started it back in just this last November. It kind of started from my son Turtle. He's a musician here on the Big Island, and he's never really had too many opportunities to play shows. So my idea was to start a nonprofit to allow kids to kind of come together and then play shows, for them and their peers.
Very nice. A question I wanted to ask you about this. You and family attended Licks and Chords Volume 2 down at the Hilo Town Market. Did you guys make it out for that?
Not the second one. No, the first one they did when they did it at Cuckoo Owl. We were there, yeah, and he was able to play.
Well, I would tell you, the second one was very well attended. And I was kind of curious if you had any knowledge of the people or the bands that were working in on that, or part of that had any influence on with you. Because where I saw it, it made for a definite, like, wow, there's something really here. They had so many the younger crowd there with their families and stuff, like exactly what you're working on and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely, I started a little bit before that, and it kind of stemmed from. I don't know. Did you go to the Battle of the Bands at Cuckoo Owl last year? They had two of them. So they were going to do another one this year in November. And then just some stuff happened with Cuckoo Owl, and I know they've been doing a lot on their end with their own stuff. Yep. So it kind of fell apart a little bit at the last minute. And, it ended up saying, well, we'll push it back till spring. And then, talking to some of the kids, they were a little bit bummed because they just don't have the opportunity to play shows. So from that, it kind of stemmed to start my thing of, let's try to make this a monthly deal that, it's going to be a show, it's going to happen, and try to get as many bands as we can and get other kids excited to play. I really wanted to make that Licks and Chords night. Turtle decided to go camping, so
there you go.
I had to stay home with Vinny, my other boy. But
I will tell you, it was from being a fan of the music scene and seeing all this grow. It was very reassuring to see the amount of young people that were out with guitars, basses, and
I saw a lot of the videos. Excuse me, on Facebook and Instagram and stuff, and I saw the kids, and that kind of what prompted me to reach out to you because I heard of the Iron Pigs, and I think there was another kids band there too, but I don't know who they are. Yeah. I think that we can get enough bands and enough support to, get them playing regularly, and or kids that are, that just play instruments that, want to get a band together but have nowhere to play. Well, now, they do, and that's why I want to try to get this out here with our first show. And we actually have another one scheduled March 8th at the Hilo Town Market, but that's still kind of to be determined kind of stuff. But yeah.
So let's talk. You have your first show on January 25th at the Stables in
Hawaiian Beaches.
Actually kind of been said, hey, this is going on down there too. So kind of captured a little bit more of a crowd to come in. So we're hoping they'll make they're all in the same town, same area and stuff. They'll make the trip over there to the Stables to do. I think it's a very cool venue to be able to do a show. I think so. When I first went there, I was like, this would be kind of a cool place I could see doing a show there. So
it's nice. I used to do yoga there a little bit, and but it's nice, and they got the bathrooms there, which is great, and they got decent parking around there, and
plenty of parking. So if you and it's free, which is awesome. Donations are accepted and are welcomed. Absolutely. So let's talk about your lineup. So we'll get to 2 years apart here at the end. So we have Cactus, Hostile,
and Frogs on a Log.
So what can you tell us about those bands?
So Hostile is the local high school band for Haas out in Pahoa. It's a charter school that my son Turtle goes to. And then the other two bands, Cactus and Frogs on a Log, are actually offshoots of some of the band members that started their own bands. I had this idea, but I didn't really have the bands to do it. So it ended up being mostly my son and his friends for now.
Right.
But I think it's a good start to get more people involved. But yeah, so
first step.
Yeah. Because the only other ones I knew was 2 years apart, and there's another band that played at Kukuau, but I don't think they're playing together anymore. The Heart Renders.
I have not heard of them.
Yeah, they're all girls band, and they're really good. But when I talked to one of the parents, they said, yeah, they just they had teenage kids they just got so many some are dancing, some are soccer or whatever, so it's hard to
it's hard
to get together
all
sometimes. But I hope they kind of come together now again and put them on stage.
It'll give them a good reason to. So your headliner is 2 years apart, and we have 2 years apart coming to Kukuau Studio on February 15th. That's our cheap plug for the show.
Yep.
So with Light and Larry Dupio, and MoshPlayLive has been very, very big fans of 2 years apart since we first arrived on the Big Island. They're one of the first bands we actually saw when we saw them Kukuau.
Yeah.
We're just blown away.
Yeah,
and
great band, great parents, very supportive.
Very supportive. Yeah. And when we saw them 2 years later, from 2 years when we first saw them, it was almost 2 years apart. We saw them over at Cherry Pop and Daddy's. We were just like, I was how much they had grown and matured in their sound and everything in those 2 years, and it's great. And we're happy to have them on the bill. And I think they are a great representative of the young person scene on the Big Island to really be headlining that first show for you. So very good choice, and I'm glad they're doing that for you guys, because they're all great.
They're helping out too. Yeah, so
they're all helping out.
Yeah,
we announced our show was going to be a masquerade ball the other day, and they're kind of talking. I talked to both bands about what they thought about doing that for the show, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that sounds really cool." Then they texted me back a couple of days later, "Can we do this and this for the show and stuff?" Like, oh, yeah, please go do it. Go have fun with it. Make it whatever you want to go do it. We're gonna have a good night, and just that level of energy is.
And I kind of see this too as like a springboard. So like Cactus is a metal band, Frogs on a Log, which is my son Turtle and his friends. It's their band. They're kind of like pop, but they have a metal set. So his friends are like, we know you love metal, so let's put some metal songs together for you, so you're happy. And then it kind of worked out. It's a great kind of camaraderie they have. But I like the idea of getting you guys to the shows, and the other bands, the older bands, and be like, it's Cactus. There's a good band, and they're metal, so maybe we have them open up a paid gig or something, and
actually
help out a little bit.
Well, we're talking blown away. How much influence did you have on all that?
Zero.
No,
like I was not a metalhead or anything growing up. I was into 80s and 90s hip hop when I was like in 8th grade. So I was like 95
hip hop or
my older brother, 7 years older, he was into that, big guy. And he went to all the shows. Metallica would be in the pit, but he was like 300 pounds, so he was just shooting people out, and but that was his scene, and so I like steal his cassette tapes every once in a while. But that was never my scene.
Never your scene.
No.
So what did you think when you started? What did you think when you first started going to these shows with Turtle and Vinny there?
No, it's really cool, and the community has been very kind to my son. So. We bring it, once Turtle kind of got into music and started playing guitar, I think he was like 12 and a half. And then I was like, well, let's just go to shows. So I take him to shows, and then we just sit outside with chairs. We've done that at the Lava Shack in Pahoa, where we just bring chairs and we sit and we listen to their music. And it was mostly when Mataleo played, because he loved that band, and him and Mitch, the guitarist, kind of struck up a friendship. They both love Dimebag Darrell, and they have the Dean guitars, and Mitch actually brought him on stage to play when he was like 13, and it was at it was an outdoor venue they had, and it was only open for about 6 months, and it was in Cal, and it was the Boneyard, they called it.
Boneyard.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was like an old junkyard, and then they had cleared out an area and built like this stage up there. It was a really cool outdoor venue. But the last show was like a Mataleo show, and I think it was in March a couple of years ago. And Mitch brought him on stage. I get the video and everything, and they played Walk by Pantera.
Yeah. Yep.
And let him come up there and introduced him, and and it was really cool. And let him play a couple other times. Did a Hilo Town Tavern and Hilo Town Market, and then they had him open up a show, and and it's just part of that is, why I wanted to start this was to kind of give back because my son's been very fortunate and very lucky. Not every kid has that opportunity.
Yeah.
Sometimes parents can't bring them out because they got to work or whatever they're doing, to bring them to shows, or even find shows that are all ages. And it's really cool to start seeing more all age shows, especially at like Kukow and when Hilo Town Market opened up on the inside.
Yep.
Because there wasn't none of that before. So like I said, we'd sit outside and just listen.
I know for talking to the guys who do put on shows and stuff, they are looking to make it all more inclusive and stuff because we realize the importance of having the young crowd there.
And it gives them something to do because there's not, and Hilo more so, but like where I'm out in Pahoa, there's nothing for teenagers to do.
Right.
They hang out at the skate park and that's it. They go home. So there's no, that's why I wanted to do this in Hawaiian beaches. And, I know it's sometimes not that fun for people to drive all the way out there from here to make that 20-minute drive or whatever. But,
depends what time
I wanted to give something for our community out there to do. And I have kind of bigger ideas to grow this
one step at a time, right?
One step at a time. Now it's, shows every month. I'd love to do at the stables there an open mic night for teenagers because they got open mics everywhere for adults, but nothing really for kids.
No, but that's great. You give them that outlet because that's very neat. Back in our day, you used to be sitting in mom and dad's garage and freaking strumming on the guitar, doing that. So providing that place is awesome.
And that's like the goal for this is do a show. I'd love to build it bigger. My idea, and I always, sometimes bite off more than I can chew. You got it, right?
Yep.
And I'd love by the end of 2025 to do a show at the Palace and have 7, 8, 10, whatever kids bands. I already have the name picked out. It's gonna be Pack the Palace.
Pack the Palace.
Yeah,
that would be
and
very
then
fun. Yep.
That one won't be a free show, but
no,
I can't.
That's the one thing we talk about. One especially is when we talk about go out and supporting live and local music, which I make a big deal out of every time we go do shows and stuff. It is paying for the tickets.
Yeah.
You got every once in a while, you can't, it's just what life is. You gotta, if you believe in it,
Yeah.
And if you got a little bit extra cash, you bring it and you throw it at the bands and stuff. But part of it's getting there and getting the word out and bringing your friends along.
Yeah.
You start bringing one friend along each show, all of a sudden you got a lot of friends hanging around having a good time.
Yeah.
And and it makes it easier on everybody. So when you come out to these shows, we're not trying to break the bank. I know we like to keep our shows at most $10 at like
which is reasonable.
Most, this day and age, $10 for 3-4 hours of entertainment. That's not a bad deal.
No,
You can't even do a movie
deal.
like that anymore.
Yeah.
So this one is free. Donations are gladly accepted and very welcomed. You'll see posters around town. We've got the scan code on the posters so you can donate. Talk about the bands.
So we are 501c3.
Excellent.
So I just got that a couple weeks ago, which means I can give receipts for any donations. And if you itemize your taxes, it's all tax deductible. That's including equipment too. So if you have used equipment that you don't want anymore or anything, feel free to donate it to me. I'll refurbish it. Like I said, eventually down the road, and this might take a couple of years. It depends, but I'd like to have in Pahoa like a Kukuau studio, but for kids. That same vibe. I love that vibe that they have there.
Yep.
But a place that kids can come and hang out, musicians can come hang out. They got a place to jam. They got a place to practice. Safe place. They have we can have all the equipment there. Instruments, the kids that can't afford instruments, maybe they want to learn how to play. I'd love to have other musicians that have a spot that they can hold their lessons there.
That would be cool.
Instead of always coming to somebody's house or whatever, just have a central kind of location. That's kind of a couple of years down the road, and it's all on my website too. If you look it up, vanhaven24.org.
Very good. Do you have any idea who you're going to have for your next lineup, or is it kind of up in the air right now for the next?
It's probably going to be similar.
Yep.
I know 2 years apart's in. I'm sure the rest of the bands are in. I'd love, like I said, I've talked to one of the moms for Iron Pigs. I'd like to get them out to this show just to kind of see what we're doing. I'd love to have them, get some stage time on.
Absolutely.
And, if anybody out there knows of any other kids that have bands that, please have them get in touch with me because I'll put them on stage. It doesn't always have to be the same lineup. This one's going to be, it's going to be kind of a showcase. So it's each band gets the same amount of time. They're all going to get 45 minutes.
I like that. 45 minutes is a good set. That seems like
a couple 15 minutes in
between.
between. Yep. So one of the dads, Chris, he has most of the equipment. He's been collecting it. He's another great person that helps his kids. And nice. I mean, he's got a whole studio he's bought, just everything, which is great. So he's going to come and set all that stuff up because, Bandhaven on Venmo, if you want to donate, bandhaven24@gmail.com, bandhaven24.org is the website. And you can go on there if you want more information. Again, my name's Antonio. I'm Turtle's dad, so if you see me around, that's how most people know me. I'm more of a background person, so I let him kind of do his thing.
Kind of the star of the line, kind of sticks out.
Which it should be. I had my time when I was younger. I was a baseball player, and people knew me for that. And now I'm, let him do his thing. And I'll support him. And
with that, we will say thank you. We'll see you on the 25th. We're looking forward to the 25th and what's coming up in the future.
Yes.
So with that, peace, love, and
thank you.